Good morning all. So welcome to exam oriented batch. So you all collected the books? Yes, fine. So I don't know with what expectation you have come for this batch, but first things first, I wanted to share with you what is that we are going to do in this. So name may suggest exam oriented, but it will be decent 140 plus hours of classes, and we will be covering all the portions. So I am not going to filter or skip any chapters. So we are going to cover everything, and this, of course, too much of bare act discussion will not be there. So whatever is really important from exam point of view, those we will discuss in depth, and those which are not that much important, so that we will be discussing as summary form, okay. And you will be provided with total 5 books, 3 volumes of resource book, and that resource book contains the detailed provisions. So what you have received today is volume 1, and volume 2 and volume 3 also will be provided, but don't worry, that won't be of this big size, less than this only. And you will also be provided with one That's It book, which is a summary book that contains all the summary, like summary of all the chapters in a crisp format, mainly for revision purpose, and even one day before the exam also you can make use of that book. Plus you will also be provided with solved workbook. That solved workbook contains problems and solutions. So all past exam, MTP, RTP questions, even some more questions which I have coined based on amendments, everything will be there. And that is purely for practice purpose, okay. And in class also, wherever required, we will be solving the questions from solved workbook as well, and remaining questions you need to practice at your side, so as and when the chapters get over, okay. And this batch is for May 25 as well as for November 25. So we are going to cover the amendments even for November 25 as well, to the extent possible. As you all know, your CA final students, May 25 exam, all the amendments up to 31st October 2024 will be applicable for your May 25 exam. And we cross 31st October, so we know what are all the amendments, so we are in December month. Whereas for those who are appearing for November 25, all the amendments up to 30th April 2025 will be applicable. So up to 30th April 2025 means we are in December, and Nirmala Sitharaman is not my mother-in-law to know what are all the changes that may be coming in future. So practically it is not possible for me to predict what it could be, what is cooking in her mind, even she don't know. So therefore how will I know? And that amendments as and when it comes. But so far whatever amendments that were there with effect from 1st November, that I will be incorporating into our discussion. Even till the time our batch gets completed, that is Jan, also it will be incorporated. And if you are appearing for November 25, you don't have to bother about those amendments. And those who are appearing for May 25, like those who are appearing for May 25 don't have to bother about those amendments. Those who are appearing for November 25, you should just remember that these are the amendments. That does not mean, like you should not listen and all. Listen, maybe because after you complete your exams, definitely you are going to clear. May 25 attempt, those who are writing, you will clear. With that objective only we should prepare. So not that if not May, then November. No, not with that objective. Starting itself, it should not be like that. Maybe before writing exam you can have the thoughts, but not during the preparation stage. During the preparation stage, after seeing the question paper, after writing the answer, let that thoughts come. It's okay, but not now. At the preparation stage, you all should have that confidence. What is that confidence? Okay, my attempt is May 25. May 25 is only my attempt. You understood? It's not November 25. If not May, then November, no. So only with that objective when you prepare, see, keep the target clear. Only when you keep the target clear, you will be able to achieve the target. When the target itself is shabby, then how you are going to achieve anything? Definitely it is not possible. So due to that reason, my advice is that if you have fixed May 25, fix it and prepare accordingly. So by the time you complete May 25, attempt exams and then you go for interview, at that time they will ask something in the interview, in the technical round, then you cannot say, no sir, I prepared for May 25, I don't know November 25 amendments and all. You cannot say that way, na? So that's why nothing wrong in knowing the information, but it may not be important from exam point of view, but it will be useful definitely thereafter. Okay. Then how many of you here are appearing for November 25? I know primarily it is May 25 batch. How many of you are appearing for November 25? Only few, so not an issue. And even in online also, so wanted to understand how many of you are November 25. So, but this batch will be useful for both the attempts. May 25 to pakka, there is nothing extra that you need to learn. November 25 alone, extra amendments for the next 4 months you have to study. So why you can sit there also, no? You don't want to sit there? Fine, it's okay, whichever is comfortable for you. So why always last bench? Sit in the first bench also. You can see there, projector is also there. Fine. Yes. And how many of you have not at all studied GST in intermediate? Studied, I didn't ask whether you remember or whether you don't remember, etc. Studied, not at all studied. Okay. Definitely you will find it little difficult when it comes to this exam oriented batch. Reason being, see, the regular batch is for 200 hours. Okay dear, so some of them are writing for November 25 also, fine. Regular batch is for 200 hours and lots of discussion I will be making. Now I need to cut down that 60 hours, and that's why what I did is that I created an exam oriented batch which is actually midway between regular batch and fast track batch, wherein intermediate portion I will be discussing in little crisp manner. Intermediate portion like supply, basic concepts, somewhere in intermediate you would have studied now lot of chapters. So supply, basic concepts, time of supply, place of supply, not place of supply, time of supply only studied. Then input tax credit few provisions, then value of supply few provisions. Those things we will not be spending too much time. So therefore if you are finding that as difficulty, you just ask me, I'll help you out in that. Okay. So maybe you can watch some other videos in my YouTube, I'll share with you, and then you can continue with this. So that will become easy, but try to cope up to the extent possible. It is possible, not that I'm going to skip that. I'll cover, but that will be little in a summary format rather than in a detailed manner. Okay. Then coming back to our discussion for exam oriented batch. So intermediate topics I'll be discussing in a little crisp manner. So no bare act, beating around the bush, etc. to the point. Whereas all other chapters which are applicable for your CA final exam, full in thorough manner we will be learning. But there are some chapters which are at CA intermediate level also, but final level also, but which is very important, which is actually the fundamentals or the pillars. So that we will be learning in a detailed manner, that is input tax credit chapter and exemptions chapter. So because you cannot expect a question paper without input tax credit provisions and without exemptions and RCM, reverse charge mechanism. So that's the reason why that we will be learning in detail. As we progress, you will understand as to the way of approach, etc. and all. And you have been provided with volume 1 book today. So you can see the index as to what are the chapters that we have in this volume 1. First we will be covering this volume 1, and thereafter volume 2 and volume 3 in the same flow. And you will also be provided with other books today itself except solved workbook, because solved workbook still we are into the preparation, because we are updating all the questions, etc. and all. So it will take time. By end of this month you will be receiving solved workbook, but right now we have provided you 4 books. Those who enrolled recently, like 1 day, 2 days before and all, might not have received. Online students, I am telling you. And for face-to-face students, today when you are leaving, you collect the remaining 3 books and go. And daily you need to bring 2 books. This volume 1 book, then that's it book, that summary book also you need to bring. Plus, you need to maintain 1 notebook also. So that notebook may be extra information, the answers for some questions which I have not given in the book that you will be required to make in your notebook. So all those extra points, whatever you are writing in your notebook, you can give the page number reference of your notebook to this book. So just maintain 1 notebook. For that notebook, give a page number, and whatever extra information you are writing in your notebook, that notebook ka page number you update in this main book, so that it will be easy for you, because the flow will not get disturbed, because otherwise what will happen? So when you sit and prepare, you will not know what to read. You are flooded with lot of books and you will not know what to read. So for that reason only I am telling you this. And this is your volume 1 portion, introduction to GST. This is actually your CA inter portion, and at CA final level this chapter itself is not there. In chapter number 1, CA final study material, chapter number 1 is supply. In the chapter number 1, they have given at the end as an appendix this introduction to GST. Means maybe some MCQs could come, and that too doubtful it will be. And supply under GST is again CA intermediate portion, because lot of time every faculty will be spending on supply under GST only, because that is the taxable event. What is the meaning of taxable event? An event on happening of which we need to pay tax is known as taxable event. And you all know that indirect tax is a event based taxation. Event based taxation means one event will trigger, on triggering of that event we need to pay the tax, just like your income tax basis of charge, wherein you have house property income, then it will come under income from house property. You have a capital asset, that capital asset is being transferred, then there will be capital gain. Like that, one event will happen. On happening of that event, we need to pay the tax. So that taxable event under GST is supply. So supply, if an activity, for example, I am taking classes, whatever activity that I am doing now, if it is supply, I have to pay GST. If it is not a supply, GST not payable. So this is the basis of GST law. So due to that reason, supply chapter, it's a CA intermediate portion, but we have at final level also we will be learning. Then this levy and collection of CGST, we have at inter, but that we are not going to learn in a summary format. In detail we need to learn, because lot of amendments are there from the time you studied inter to final. Even levy and collection of IGST you were not at all having. Exemptions you were having, but we will not be learning that in a crisp manner. But time of supply, it's a small chapter only. CA intermediate itself you have learnt in detail. So here we will do the revision related to that. Then place of supply, value of supply, input tax credit, full detail. Then again composition scheme, in intermediate level you have studied, at final level will not be getting questions on composition scheme. Like how in intermediate there used to be one 5 marks question dedicatedly on composition scheme, dedicatedly on time of supply. At final level we will not have. But this knowledge is useful for solving other questions. Okay. So that's the reason why these 4 chapters alone we will be learning in a little summary form, but remaining chapters and all in volume 1 it will be learnt in detailed manner. Done. Next. Suppose if you are appearing for CMA final also, I have just given the chapter references, like module references of CMA final, so that in case if you are appearing for CMA final it may be useful. Okay. And volume 2 only few chapters are not there for CMA final, but volume 1 to same, both CA final or CMA final. Okay. Can we start? Now what is the weightage of this volume 1, sir? Volume 1 weightage will be minimum 50 marks. Volume 1 weightage is minimum 50 marks, and I cannot divide exactly which questions and all, because in indirect tax it will never be like on one chapter one question. No, not at all. one question will be based on 3-4 different chapters. So your question number 1, which is a compulsory question, is covering actually 5 chapters. So they will give list of transactions. For those list of transactions, we need to arrive at the net GST payable. To arrive at the net GST payable, so first we need to check whether the activity is supply. Then we need to see whether it is taxable or exempted. So exemption chapter gets covered. Then place of supply to know whether it is intra-state supply or interstate supply. And again, input tax credit related provisions, time of supply provisions, like this 5 chapters. Covering 5 chapters, they make 114 marks question. Are you understanding? So which means, okay, we completed this chapter, so from this we will get questions. Not at all like that. And also from question number 2 to question number 6. Question number 1 is compulsory. Question number 2 to question number 6, you need to answer any 4, and in these 4 questions also A, B, C will be there. A and B will be from GST, part C will be from customs. Even though we have customs and FTP for 20 marks, but you cannot expect a separate section for customs wherein 20 marks only customs related questions. No, not like that. If that be the case, no student will study customs. So 80 marks they will read GST and they will go and they will try to get some marks out of that. So with that objective only, what they did, every question, question number 2 to question number 6, every question part C will be customs for 4 marks. Stamp, same. Whereas question number A and B will be from GST. Again this A and B which is from GST, it will not be like a standalone questions. So again they will be connecting 2-3 different topics and they will be asking. So far I have seen all the question papers from May 2018, that was the first attempt for GST, May 2018 till November 2024. And out of all these attempts, the previous attempt, November 24 attempt, was a nightmare for the students. So gradually I have been observing, initially in 2018, 2019 and all, the question papers were very easy. And trust me, lot of students used to prepare from summary book, and they used to somehow, summary book or some other books and all, every faculty will be having a summary book, okay, and from that summary book itself they will prepare little bit questions and all they will be seeing, and they go for exam. So if you see in 2018, 19 times and all my YouTube channel, full comments, sir I studied only rocket revision, I completed, I cleared CA, like that and all they will be posting. Don't believe in them, okay. Now also they will be posting, don't believe in them. Now things are not like that. Only by watching summary if a student can complete, then why you need to join for exam oriented batch or regular batches etc and all. No, that is actually a dessert after completion of a full meal. So you go and eat the meals, and at the final you will get one dessert, and the dessert is so good. Now you will forget what is a meal, but you will remember that dessert, but that dessert is not going to fulfill your hunger. Your hunger is fulfilled through that meal, but you remember the dessert. That is happening here. So the students will read that summary or will watch the summary lectures and they will feel like they cleared because of that summary only. How anyone can clear because of the summary? No boss, it is not going to work like that. But that summary will help you to retain the concepts in the exam hall. That's how it works, okay. First you should study properly. When you study properly, so that summary is like a icing on the cake, okay. So that when you write the exam, whatever you learnt in the class plus whatever efforts that you have put, that will get culminated into the revision and that will come into the exam, so that you feel like, okay, superbly I am writing. But a student for the first time when they watch summary and they go for the exam, because they did, that's why I am telling you this. November exam, many students thought, okay fine, anyhow paper is like this only, and they prepared from summary, did some, I will be releasing every attempt some mighty 50 questions. So those 50 questions also they have solved and they went for the exam. After writing the exam and they are coming, because now there is a change in the system in examination wherein within 3 hours you should not come out. Yes, previously because some students for May exam they have come out and they have put the question paper or some MCQ and all. So before 5 p.m. itself the MCQ paper was out, and for that reason ICAI took this firm decision that you have to sit there for 3 hours, whether you like, you don't like, you sleep, whatever it may be. And they completed the exam 1 hour, 1.5 hours itself. And they came out and they literally sent me a message stating that we believed in you and we lost this time like that. Who asked you to believe in me? By watching summary itself, if you believe in me, then yeah, for summary batch I would have charged 10,000 rupees. Na? See, when it comes to commercial, only summary batch 10,000 rupees you pay and go, I would have done. Yeah, 200 hours a student is sitting, lot of back pain the student will have, and morning and all you are coming and sitting. Are you buffoons or what? Huh? And you are putting this much effort and you are also clearing. A person just watch summary and he is also clearing. Sir, little bit fairness should be there, na? Okay, correct or not? So if you put effort, you will definitely be successful. So you ask all those students who attended regular batches of any faculty. I am not boasting like I am the only person on earth to take indirect taxes. No, there are many faculties. And maybe I am putting some hard work and I am dedicated. I wanted to do something for the students, and every faculty is good only. Now what happens here, those people who attend the batches fully, regularly, definitely they would have felt that paper as easy, because the question papers have become like that. Wherein, okay, if you read selectively, no, you will not be able to write. You read thoroughly, definitely you will be able to write. For 100 marks you can write, and one more target is that you should be writing the answers for 100 marks. It's not like I will attempt only for 70 marks, but in that 70 superbly I will write, so I will get 60 out of 70. So stop daydreaming. Come on, this is ICAI, okay? So this ICAI, even if answer is correct itself, they are not giving full marks. And everything is correct only also, they are not at all giving marks, okay? So evidences available in the open. You go to Telegram groups, you see the faculties, many number of faculties, YouTube channels, you will understand as to how the ICAI is marking. Already they have lot of vengeance on us. On the top of that, you write only for 70 marks and expect 60 marks and all. No, that miracles and all will not happen. You write for 100 marks, not attempt for 100 marks. Where I said attempt for 100 marks. Attempt means write the question number and scribble something and come. No, you have to write the answers for 100 marks. When you write for 100 marks, definitely you will be in 60 plus, possible. Sir, how much should we target, sir, in indirect tax? So you tell me, what is the target that you need? How many marks you need? Don't tell 40. 40 means refund. Go. You will get, don't attend the batch. 40 and all easily you will get. And 40 is not the target here. So it should be 80 marks. Your target should be 80 marks. But sir, is it possible to get 80 marks? So if it is a regular batch, I will definitely confidently say yes, you will get. But exam oriented batch, yes, you will get, but you need to put some effort from your side. Without your effort, it is not possible. Only my effort, no. Say if you feel like, okay, I attend your classes, sir, directly I go for exam, okay, revision I will do, I go for exam, will I get 80? No, I cannot guarantee you that. You attend the classes and you also should put some practice, solve as many questions as you can, revise it thoroughly, and then you can do, plus you need to write the test series as well. So we will be planning for the test series from Jan. So therefore weekly there will be test series depending upon the portion, and I will share with you the test schedule also. Total there will be 8 chapter wise tests. Chapter wise test in the sense 3 chapters like that I have merged into one test, and that 8 tests will be there weekly, okay. Even after our batch also the test will continue, okay. And thereafter you will be having mock test. So 2 mock tests will be there, and either both the mock tests you can write or any one mock test you can write, but I will be giving you the question papers and suggested answers for both the mock tests, and these 8 chapter wise test series plus 2 mock tests, that wholeheartedly you need to write. Sir, evaluation will you do, sir? Sorry boss, I cannot do evaluation and all, but I will give you the explanation video. So for each and every test I will give you the answer video and I will tell, if you have written this much marks you will be getting. Based on that you yourself mark, so that I will give you the step marking. While explaining I will give you the step marking. Based on that step marking you can put your marks and you can evaluate yourself. Okay. So because practically I can tell you I will evaluate and give, but I cannot, seriously I cannot evaluate sitting on that. No, not possible, because I have to do other things as well. I need to prepare books, I need to give you a lot of other information. So evaluation to not possible. Then I need to appoint some people for doing evaluation, and what if those people mess up? Then for the sake of evaluating, I have to pay money to them. I don't have trust on anyone. So that's the reason why I have trust on you. You yourself evaluate, so you will know how many marks you are getting. Got it? Mock test alone, I will ensure that it will be evaluated and it will be given. So this chapter wise test series and all, you do that. Mock test, definitely I will make an effort. Okay, if I found a good person to do that, etc. and all, I will definitely get it done. Okay, but test will be there and you have to write. So one student has said, sir, I need 100 out of 100. Very good, keep it up. And no, possible, but only thing is that you should prepare only IDT. You should prepare only IDT, then it is possible to get 100 out of 100. Okay, and don't take it in a wrong sense. Okay, good to have that 100 out of 100 as an ambition, but CA exam, no, not possible. That too tax not possible. Maybe practical paper possible, but where, sir? No practical paper they are giving. So SFM itself, AFM itself, they are making as a theory paper nowadays, wherein along with practical they are giving us to write lot of justifications, wherein advice what can be done and all. Like SEMP paper they are making, wherein previously just the formulas you put, you arrive at some answer, it was like that. Slowly the paper is changing. FR also is changing to a greater extent. It is going towards the case study approach type. So therefore the moment when it is a case study approach type, we cannot expect 100 out of 100 and all, but good, aim for high so that you will get more marks. Why, sir, we should get this high marks in indirect taxes? Because other papers are not predictable. Other papers are not predictable, trust me. Example, in group 2 if you see DT. DT is actually group 3 of CA final. Seriously. Seriously. Considering the volume, the true volume you don't know actually. True volume none of us know, because we follow majority BB sir book, and because of that compact book we think okay this much is only there and we will prepare that and we will go, and what happens is that really is that much only there. So even you ask BB sir also, he will tell no boss, this is compact, the name is compact. Okay, compact means this is there, but it does not mean this is only there and remaining is not there. No, it is there, lot of things are there, but only thing, if the exam, the ICAI starts at asking those questions and all, gone. And DT never, it was like no student I heard after writing DT paper, this time amazing, I will get 90 plus. I never heard. Every student I asked, they will be sitting and reading. They will tell, sir, still not completed, sir. Portion itself though they will not complete, and they go for the exam, and in exam it so happens that they will not be writing, and these MCQs, another big nightmare, wherein all the options will seem same only, correct only. You do some mistake, you will end up with an answer, and that answer, you will think answer is there means answer is correct, but that answer will be wrong. It is like for Chinese people sitting in one place, and they will give one photo and identify who is who. How can I do? Everyone is looking alike only. So like that they are creating MCQs, and in that 30 marks, if you try to score, which means you should be so much proficient, in scoring that, because trust me, it happened personally for me. Like MCQ paper last time, November 24 exam, they released the MCQ paper also outside. So far, MCQ question paper you should not be carrying, you have to return it back. And November 24 exam onwards, the students can carry the question paper along with them, MCQ paper. One student shared with me, somewhere at 5 o'clock he shared with me immediately after the exam got over. 5:30 p.m. I just answered and I given, and that is I released it in my telegram. In that, I missed out one point here. I have been taking indirect tax, no other subject, no other subject, only this subject. For last 15 years, I have been taking. The day one from GST, I have been teaching the students. See, for student, it is one of the subject. For a teacher, it's the only subject. So therefore, we will be learning this so much because of taking the classes, etc. But even myself, I made the mistake. So like that the MCQs are, you understood? Thereafter, students made a number of mistakes, and then they took me on 5th gear and all, and they asked, how is this correct? No, we wrote this way. So because they wrote that way, they started debating with me. This is only correct. Fine, we have to wait for ICI. Then what it will do? Because I am not going to give them marks, etc. and all. So it happens that, in MCQs itself, we are required to take assumptions. Like that they are creating MCQs. So that's why having the wholesome knowledge on the subject is very, very important. DT, so definitely very, very risky in terms of getting big marks. IBS, needless to say, have you inquired IBS? What is the reaction of the other people? What they said? Did they give any positive feedback, etc. and all? No, I never heard any positive feedback. They were telling even books are there, because everyone went like a tour to exam hall, taking lot of suitcases and carrying lot of books. And for the first time I saw in CA exam centers, parents and all coming. Usually parents will not come, but parents and all coming. So mom, dad, and they are bringing books and all along with them. And nice it was, nice atmosphere to see, full of books. But what is the use? Full books are there here. Question paper is there, they are not able to see the book and write. Really, because the questions are like that. The questions are like that. Even if you search the book also, you will not be able to write unless otherwise you have a complete knowledge on the subject. Fine sir, 5 subjects we will have knowledge. FR, AFM, audit, DT, IDT. But this is just 50% only. Remaining 50% will be on law, SEMPE and other things and all they are asking. That to SP OM na? OM, okay. So therefore, where we studied that, we went and wrote inky, pinky, ponky. Somewhere we got marks, okay. Where we are preparing SPOM that much sincerely, again in IBS, it is like to 50-50. Then group 2, the only subject which will shoulder entire group 2 is indirect tax. If you are able to score 60 plus here, come what may in the other 2 papers you are not getting as expected, somewhere in 40s to 50s you are in, without aggregate problem you will come out of the group 2, okay. Clearing group 2 is of utmost importance in the given scenario of the changes that is happening. And from November 24 to May 25, how many amendments? 57 amendments. From November 24 to May 25, November 24 to May 25, okay. If at all you have studied somewhere in 2023 and suppose again you are coming for these classes and you are attending, what is happened? What just has happened? Is this the subject we learned? Like that it would have changed. Trust me, because you will receive pocket book, that is That's It book today. In that That's It book I have given all the amendments, index of amendments And when I started here putting the amendments, incorporating the amendments, it is coming, it's coming like a big snake, you know. So far, like for May 25 itself, 57 amendments. In that 56 are from GST only one amendment is from customs, okay. And again for November 25, as on this book release date, it was 10 amendments. Still we are left with 4 months. So December not yet completed, Jan, Feb, March, April, so those also will be coming. So given the scenario where the portion is changing so drastically, and DT also lot of amendments, you know, Finance Act 2024, a number of amendments were brought, and again they are expecting to change a lot for 2025 exams, like 2025 Finance Act also. So do something, hook or crook, okay, you have to clear group 2 at any cost. This coming May 25 attempt, you should definitely clear. If you are writing group 2 for May 25, please clear that. Sir, it does not mean group 1 you can leave it for granted or take it for granted. Group 1 also you need to prepare, but group 1 okay, fine, because FR and all will not change that much, AFM will not change that much, not change, and auditing also will not, it is static, so there won't be any problem in that. But group 2 when you are preparing, you have to complete it, and it should be fresh, like you attended the class, put some hard work and try to complete. So wherein IDT 60 plus, other 2 subjects practically I don't know about IBS to what extent you will be able to score, and DT 50-50, the paper may be easy, the paper may be difficult, so therefore all 3 together 150 out of 300, that should be the target, minimum. Beyond that, whatever you get, bonus, okay, because we don't need actually, you know, unless you are aiming for a rank, those who are not aiming for rank, no one will ask how much percentage, etc. and all, because in job market they will ask you to give you a percentage, but really the percentage doesn't matter in CA. So trust me, what matters is first attempt or not. What matters in CA is first attempt or not. That does matter. Inter also doesn't matter. Final matters. So final, you are giving your first attempt, and that first attempt you are clearing. That's how they are shortlisting. I am not lying. Trust me, in all campus interviews and in entire job market, you know, the first filter is what, you know, rank, and the second filter is first attempt, and thereafter only they see others. If they are not getting enough candidates from there, then they are going for other things and all, okay. So means maybe we did not get good potential candidate through rankers or through first attempt students, then they will shortlist others and they will do the interview and they will decide about your knowledge, potential, etc. Because see, try to understand from the employer side. Employer, what they will see is that they are flooded with 200-300 resumes. So 200-300 resumes they need to shortlist. Then what could be the criteria? They cannot interview everyone to do the shortlist. First shortlist they need to do. For the sake of that only they are keeping this. And if you are aiming for rank also, trust me, because of IDT only, you are having high chances of getting rank. 80s and all, if you are getting in IDT, 80 plus, 80 plus, and DT somewhere 60s to 70, and IB is also 60, IBS also 60 to 70, group 1, so definitely FR, AFM somewhere nearing 80s, and audit somewhere like 70s, no doubt you will be somewhere in first 10 ranks. If this is the marks, you will be somewhere in the first 10 ranks, possible. And aim for rank also. So that's my second thing. First, clearing is first aspect, but we should aim for rank. See, the environment is so competitive, and when you are a rank, even if it is second attempt, third attempt also, that doesn't matter. You understood what I am telling? If you are aiming for rank, even if it is second or third attempt, doesn't matter, because I told you the first filter is based on ranks. And I am not telling that everyone, those who are writing in the first attempt itself, they are getting the ranks. No, not necessary. Many students will write one group just to try, and in that group they will be getting somewhere like lesser marks, but the experience what they have gained, next attempt they will write both the groups, and both the groups they will definitely clear, and somewhere in 30, 40s like that they will be having the rank. You understood? Many students I have seen, personally I have seen, because every time when I am interacting with them, lot of students will be telling this, sir, no sir, I wrote one group, but I didn't clear at that time because I didn't prepare well, but thereafter I wrote both the groups and I cleared and I got a rank. So yes, it is possible. So aim for that, because anyhow ICA is giving 50 ranks. That too, not only for 50 students they are giving 50 ranks, one rank may be given for 3-4 students also, if the mark is same, because the ranking is based on the marks, the ranking is not based on a percentile etc. and all. So due to that reason, please aim for a rank. It so happens that AIR 47, so maybe 4 students also will have. You understood what I am telling? So, but AIR 1 also sometimes shared with 2 students. I have seen. First rank will be shared with 2 students if the marks are same. Okay, it is possible. So therefore, aim for rank. How to aim for rank? You should be aiming for good marks. Automatically it will push for rank. You can never get a rank without scoring more marks. So you have to score marks. Again in that also IDT will help you. Okay. Now I gave you the proper foundation. The pitch is ready. Now we need to start the game. Understood? Now, so I asked you what is your expectation, and you told me this is the marks that I need. Very good. Keep it up. Then what is that you expect from me? I don't know, but I will make myself clear. So this batch we will be completing, and up to December 30th, we will have classes in the mornings. So morning 6:30 to 8:30, and anyone going for articleship? Then I have to wind up by 8:30. It's okay if I go little bit 15 minutes because of the topic. Maybe if it is midway, I cannot abruptly stop. So 10 minutes grace time you give me, 10 to 15 minutes, because I want to complete that portion, but I will ensure that it won't be beyond 8:45 any day. Okay. Next, again up to December you have only morning classes. December 30th, December 31st, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, we don't have classes. 4 days we don't have classes, and actually I thought of starting it from Jan, but I have started early because of that reason only, and because my regular batch is happening. My regular batch is going on, still evening classes are going on, that's why. And from Jan 4th onwards, you will be having morning and evening parallelly, plus Sundays the class will be from 7:30 to 1:30 in the mornings, and thereafter we don't have class for one day only in January, that is for Pongal. Okay, Pongal or Sankranti. So we don't have the class for that day, only one day holiday. Remaining all days we have. Jan 26th also we will be having full day class. Don't tell we have articleship and all. You name the firm, you tell me the firm name, I know where to complain. Okay. So too much Republic Day and all, you should not have articleship. Okay. So if they are having, you let me know. I know how to deal with that. I will not disclose your name. Okay. And therefore that day we will have. So by Jan 31st, we are going to wind up this batch. Suppose come what may, because of my health reason, because of natural calamity, actually December is a natural calamity for Chennai, and suppose if anything happens, it may go to Feb first week, but that is only if anything happens. Otherwise I am planning, in my plan, in my scheduling, so Jan 31st is the last class. Okay, fine. Once that is done, thereafter I will be conducting anyhow the test series. I will give you the revision videos based on the test series. So that is in the week. So every week I will give you the schedule, and in the beginning of the week, from this That's It book which I have provided, which you will be receiving today itself. So this book will have the revision, summary of all concepts, So this I will be giving you as a revision video. So that revision video you keep, and solve workbook you need to solve the problems and solutions. You understood the methodology? Revision videos plus keeping solved workbook, you solve the question and answers, and that weekend a question paper will be released. So Monday to Friday you need to prepare that portion. Timing up to you, because during the time when the batch is going on, hardly you might be writing some 4 tests, but remaining tests and all after the batch gets completed. So depending upon your time availability, so you have to prepare. So what you can do, daily 2 hours you can devote, or maybe Saturday full day you can sit and prepare, and Sunday you can write the test. So somehow you do that. Saturday I will give you the question paper, and Sunday by night you need to complete your test. Got it? Sunday I will give you the suggested answers along with the explanation video, and you can evaluate yourself. Maybe Monday also you can write. But again next week also the schedule gets affected for that reason. So try to complete it by Sunday. So that portion you have to complete by Sunday. Write the test, watch the suggested answer with the explanation video, so that that portion is over. Then again second week, third week, fourth week, like that 8 weeks. Thereafter you will be having 2 mock tests, and with that already you attended the classes, and during the test series you will do revision once, and after this mock test there will be a rocket revision batch. That rocket revision batch will be either in the March last week or April first week. Mostly it will be in the March last week only, and I will do the rocket revision. I will announce the dates, etc. and all. So that revision batch also attend, so that it will be a 3rd time revision. First you are studying, completed. Second, during the exam, okay, 1 revision will happen chapter wise. Second revision will happen for mock test, 2 mock tests you are writing, there again 1 revision. Then you will be attending the rocket revision batch. That rocket revision will be for 4 days from morning 9 to evening 6. I will be doing it in my YouTube channel live. Even you will be also, like we will also conduct face to face, you can come and attend that as well. And after that you will be going for exam. So 1 day before exam also you will revise that. Let's see who will stop you. You understood? So because you have to plan this way, then definitely you will be able to cope up. Because 3 times revision will happen. 1 more revision will be 1 day before the exam. After a DT exam, for IDT exam we will have a gap. So in that 1.5 day you will be doing this, because already you know what is there. So you have to just brush up those topics and you need to go for the exam. Please plan it this way, definitely you will be successful. And whatever score that you are aiming for, 80 plus, etc. and all, is achievable, definitely achievable. There won't be any issue. Then next thing is about doubt clarification. As and when the batch is happening, whatever doubts that you have, excuse me. So as and when the batch is happening, whatever doubts you have, you can get it clarified. But even afterwards, when you are preparing for your exams, the chapter wise test series and all, if you have any doubts also, make use of the Telegram group. Already you have been added in the Telegram group. Whatever queries you have, you post in that. Even during the batch also, after the class gets over, you can get your doubts clarified. Even evening also, before the class getting started or after the class, you can get your doubts clarified. And even if you miss that also, anyhow Telegram group is there, there you can do that. And next thing about this test series, other things and all I have explained. So the MCQs, what should we do? So don't worry for MCQs. Anyhow in the test you will be conducted the question papers. In that question paper, partly MCQs, partly descriptive will be there. There is no separate strategy for MCQs actually. Trust me, if anyone is telling you, you solve these 100 MCQs or 200 MCQs, from this only questions will come, don't believe in them. Please don't believe in them, because it is not like that. MCQs you need to learn throughout, entirely you need to learn, then only you will be able to handle. There is no separate preparation strategy for MCQs. Okay, done. Now let's continue to this discussion. We are starting with the first chapter. As I told you, this introduction to GST, so it is not much important from exam point of view, maybe for MCQ, that too maybe for MCQ it may be asked. You tell me how GST is formed. That is like, what is the full form of GST? Goods and Services Tax. Is Goods and Services Tax a new tax, or is it by subsuming old indirect taxes? It is by subsuming old indirect taxes. What are the old indirect taxes that got subsumed? Subsumed means what? Merged into GST. What are they? There were certain indirect taxes levied by central government, like central excise duty, service tax, and central sales tax. Central excise duty, service tax, and central sales tax. And one more was also levied, customs duty, which is not subsumed into GST. Except customs duty, all others got subsumed into GST. So you can see here how indirect tax is, that is GST is formed. Take page number 6. Take page number 6. So there were various indirect taxes levied by central government. In that indirect taxes levied by central government, central sales tax and service tax, central excise duty, but customs duty is not there. And additional customs duties, there were two additional customs duties called as CVD and SAD. When customs duty will be applicable? On import or export. And when central excise duty will be applicable? On manufacture. When service tax will be applicable? On provision of services. When central sales tax will be applicable? On interstate sale. So these are the 4 indirect taxes which were levied in the past. So what were the 4? Central excise duty, service tax, central sales tax, and customs duty. But customs duty, they have not subsumed into GST, but as a part of custom there were 2 additional customs duties, that is CVD and SAD. This countervailing duty to counterbalance excise duty. For example, you are importing a product, on imported product there is no excise duty, but a locally purchased product there will be excise duty. So there is a disparity. On imported product no excise duty. All these things I am talking before implementation of GST. So on imported product there won't be any excise duty, but on locally procured product there will be excise duty, because of which the locally procured product will become costlier than the imported product. So now we need to counterbalance that. For that reason, on imported product also they wanted to levy excise duty, but excise duty is on goods manufactured in India. For that reason they created another duty called as countervailing duty, which is nothing but to counterbalance the excise duty. So what is CVD? Same page, footnote you see. So countervailing duty to counterbalance excise duty, and special additional duty to counterbalance sales tax. So again, on imported product there won't be sales tax, but on locally procured product there will be sales tax. So which means again locally procured product will become costlier than the imported product. So to counter that effect, so what they are telling, on imported product also we will be levying a additional tax or additional duty called as special additional duty, which is nothing but to counterbalance sales tax. Okay. So CVD is to counterbalance excise duty. SAD is to counterbalance sales tax. This excise duty and sales tax is now subsumed into GST. This excise duty and sales tax got subsumed into GST. What is the effective date of implementation of GST? 1/7/2017. 1st July 2017 is the effective date of implementation of GST. So from 1st July, all these excise duty and sales tax got subsumed. So the CVD and SAD, which was to counterbalance this excise duty and sales tax, also got subsumed into GST. But the remaining customs duties are still outside the ambit of GST. So additional customs duties, CVD and SAD. So what is the first point that you need to remember? All indirect taxes levied by central government, except customs duty, but including CVD and SAD got subsumed into GST. Got subsumed into GST. Okay, this is levied by central government. Then certain specified indirect taxes levied by state government also got subsumed into GST. Not all indirect taxes levied by state government. Only certain indirect taxes levied by state government. What were they? Total 6. Value added tax. Whenever intra-state sale happens, there used to be value added tax. Purchase tax, also known as octroi, that is on purchase of goods. That is, if you are purchasing from Karnataka, Karnataka state government will be levying central sales tax on sale, whereas Tamil Nadu government, you are purchasing in Tamil Nadu from Karnataka. So Karnataka government will be levying CST. Central government will levy CST, but it will be collected by the state government. You understood? CST has got a speciality. Even though it is levied by central government, but it will be collected by state government. What is the full form of CST? Central sales tax. So who will be collecting this? In our example, for sale from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu, Karnataka government. Karnataka government will collect. Levied by central government, but collected by Karnataka government. Now Tamil Nadu government will levy purchase tax because the goods are being purchased here. So which means a domestic trader in Tamil Nadu gets affected, for which Tamil Nadu government will be levying purchase tax. This was the position before. But now central sales tax got subsumed, parallelly value added tax also got subsumed, and even purchase tax also got subsumed into GST. There is nothing like that called purchase tax now. Okay. Then tax on lottery betting gambling, not your income tax. This tax on lottery betting gambling, previously state governments used to levy. Previously income tax, yes, of course it is there. Income from horse racing, betting, etc. Apart from income tax, which was levied by central government, which is levied by central government now also, but previously state governments also used to collect something called as lottery tax, betting tax, gambling tax, that also got subsumed into GST. Then entertainment tax levied on cinema actors, serial actors, DTH service providers and cable TV operators, cinema theatres, state government used to levy entertainment tax. Now that is also subsumed into GST. Luxury tax was levied by state governments on hotels like 3-star, 4-star, 5-star hotels, that is also now subsumed into GST. Advertisement tax on the hoardings. So when we keep big hoardings or do advertisement on public property, we were required to pay advertisement tax, but now that is also subsumed into GST. What are the 6 state government levies subsumed into GST? Order not required, you tell randomly. Value added tax, purchase tax, advertisement tax, lottery tax, entertainment tax, luxury tax. Okay. So these were the indirect taxes levied by state government that got subsumed into GST. Okay. But entertainment tax is there even today also on cinema theatres. There is entertainment tax. What about that entertainment tax? That is not levied by state government, that is levied by the local authority. So local authority is also having power to levy as per constitution, yes. Whether that got subsumed into GST, no. Local authority levies, example entertainment tax, but we have many local authority levies like municipal taxes, not subsumed into GST. So indirect taxes levied by state government also, some indirect taxes not levied, like not subsumed into GST, levied by state government. Can you give me examples of indirect taxes levied by state government, not subsumed into GST? It is continued even today. Any example? Property tax, yes, correct. Property tax, they have not subsumed into GST. Then actually property tax by the local authority, not by the state government, local authority, but that is not subsumed. Anyhow, we covered that in the local authority taxes not subsumed. Next, connecting to property tax, there is something called as stamp duty. Have you heard of? Levied by state government, stamp duty. Whenever you purchase the property, so you have to pay the stamp duty, etc. and all. That stamp duty levied by state government, not subsumed. On liquor, opium, narcotics, state excise duty. State excise duty also not subsumed into GST. Are you understanding? Then professional tax, have you heard of professional tax? Not subsumed into GST. In Maharashtra there is something called as LBT, local body tax, not subsumed into GST. And in Karnataka there is a tax called as Mandi tax. Mandis means wholesalers. Wholesalers are required to pay some tax, that is Mandi tax, even that is also not subsumed into GST. Are you understanding? These are some examples of indirect taxes not subsumed into GST. Clear? Then, whether in India we follow single GST model or dual GST model. Yes, one more example also. Online student, they said road tax, correct? Road tax also not subsumed, because whenever you buy the vehicle, you need to pay the road tax, and that road tax levied by state government also not subsumed into GST. Good. Next, what is the type of GST that is applicable in India, whether it is single GST or dual GST model? Dual GST model. What is dual GST model means? Both central government and state government parallelly levy GST on the common tax base, that is known as dual GST model. Income tax is a single tax model where central government only will be collecting, thereafter they will be sharing with the state governments in the budget allocation, etc. But GST is not like that. For example, you went to a restaurant and you ate food for 500 rupees, 2.5% CGST levied and collected by central government, 2.5% SGST levied and collected by the state government. This model is known as dual GST model. So what is dual GST model? On the common tax base, both central government and state government parallelly levy GST. That is dual GST model, and dual GST model is required in India because India is a federal country. Both central government is having certain roles and responsibilities, state government is also having some roles and responsibilities. In order to fulfill that responsibilities, they need revenue. For the sake of that revenue only, there is a dual GST model, and because India is a federal country. Then dual GST is designed keeping in mind the constitutional requirement of fiscal federalism, and we adopted this dual GST model from two countries, Brazil and Canada. So only in Brazil and Canada there were dual GST model. In all other countries it was single GST model only. For example, you take Singapore, there is no dual GST model, there is only single GST model. Singapore GST is there, but it is a single GST model. So we adopted from Brazil and Canada. This is about dual GST model. Clear? Then tell me, what is input tax credit means? Input tax credit. Have you heard of this term, input tax credit? Definitely you would have heard of in articleship. What is input tax credit means? Tax paid on inward supplies. Okay. Say there is a trader, and the trader is having some inward supplies. There is a trader, the trader is having some inward supplies. Inward supplies means what? Purchases. Purchases we call as inward supplies. And whenever he makes some inward supplies, he will be paying some price plus GST. And say price is 1 lakh and GST is 12,000 rupees. And the trader is making some outward supplies. Outward supplies is sales. And when the trader is making some outward supplies from the customer, he will receive price plus GST. Say that price is 1,50,000 plus GST is 18,000. Okay, understood this? Now, what is the tax paid on purchase by the trader? 12,000. This is called as input tax. Input tax. Tax paid on inward supplies. What is this 18,000 called as? Tax on sales or outward supplies, output tax. Now, can we adjust input tax against output tax? Yes. So, input tax is availed as credit and utilized for payment of GST on output. So, set off is possible. Where in input tax we will adjust with the output tax. So, what is the net GST payable? The net GST payable is 6,000 rupees. So, net GST is nothing but gross GST, that is output tax, minus input tax. First we will avail input tax as credit. So that is called as avail ITC. ITC refers to input tax credit. Means first we will recognize this as an asset in our books. After recognizing this as an asset or receivable, then for the liability we will set off. So what is the entry for this purchase? Purchase entry. Purchase account debit 1 lakh. Input tax credit account debit 12,000. So we are recognizing the asset. Input tax credit, like that, a separate asset is being recognized. Input tax credit account debit 12,000. 2, supplier account or creditor or bank, that is 1,12,000. Done. Then we need to recognize the liability. So what is the sales entry? Bank or debtor account debit 1,68,000 to sales. Don't recognize sales as 1,68,000, you need to recognize the sales only 1,50,000, and this 18,000 rupees will be recognized as your liability to GST payable. Is it clear? Now this GST payable is our liability and input tax credit is our asset, and we do the set off. So liability we need to cancel. So what we will do? GST payable account debit, and 2 ITC asset also we are cancelling. So the difference amount, GST payable account debit 18,000, 2 ITC 12,000. So what is the difference? 6,000 rupees we will make the payment, that is to bank, that is about this 6,000. Okay. Then even in terms of cash flow, so first I gave you an accounting explanation as to how the ITC will work. Then when it comes to cash flow implication, simple. From customer I am collecting 18,000. I am the trader. From customer I am collecting 18,000. In this 18,000, 12,000 rupees already I paid at the time of purchase. So I will recover this 12,000. The investment, initially I spent 12,000. Out of this 18 I will recover. So what is left? That I will pay to government. Understood the logic here? So why are we reducing 12,000? Because already we paid at the time of purchase, which is now recovered. So even though we are collecting 18,000 from customer, but 18,000 we will not pay to government, 6,000 rupees only we pay to government. Got it? Now, what is input tax credit? GST paid on inward supplies, which can be availed as ITC and utilized. Don't use the word set off. Utilized for payment of GST on outward supplies. Availment of credit means taking credit, and utilization of credit means set off of credit. Availment of ITC means taking credit or taking ITC, where in our records, whereas utilization of ITC is set off. So again tell me, what is input tax credit? GST paid on inward supplies can be availed as ITC and utilized for payment of GST on outward supplies. Got it? Now practically how we will deal with this, how we will take the ITC, how we will utilize the ITC, etc. The moment when you make purchases, you know how much is your ITC. That ITC we need to enter in GSTR 3B. GSTR 3B is a return to be filed by every registered person. That GSTR 3B contains the details of outward supplies, inward supplies, and how much is the net GST payable, etc. So we can see here the format of GSTR 3B. So in GSTR 3B, we have tables. So table 3.1 talks about liability, tax on outward and reverse charge inward supplies. So we will see what is each and everything we will see. Then table 3.2 about interstate supplies, table 4 about eligible ITC, table 5 exempted nil and non-GST inward supplies, and table 5 about interest and late fee. Now right now we are availing the ITC. When we avail the ITC, it should come in table 4. So in table 4, so when you go to table 4 eligible ITC, in that eligible ITC we will be having a table like this, a format like this, wherein how much ever ITC that we are eligible, we need to enter here. The moment when you enter here and click on confirm, that is called as ITC availed. ITC availed. Okay. So where we will avail ITC here? We will avail ITC in GSTR 3B. We will avail ITC in GSTR 3B. Which table? Not required. Okay. But for practical purpose only we need table number 4. But in 3B we will avail the ITC. Once we avail the ITC, then output tax where we need to report? Again 3B. GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B. So in these two places we will report output tax, that is the traders output tax liability will be reported in GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B. GSTR 1 is a return that contains only the details of outward supplies, nothing else. Only my outward supply details will be there in GSTR 1. Whereas GSTR 3B, already I told you, we will have tax details also, input tax details also, and even we will have interest late fee. But in GSTR 3B, it will be summary figures. We will not have invoice wise information in 3B. But in GSTR 1, there will be majorly invoice wise information. So what this trader should do, whenever he is making the sale, he need to enter these details in GSTR 1. So there is a return, that is GSTR 1. The moment when we log in into the portal, under services, returns, you can see return dashboard. In that return dashboard, you will find GSTR 1, 2A, 2B, 3B, like that. So right now our discussion is into GSTR 1. So in this GSTR 1, if you see, lot of tables are there, and in that we need to enter our invoices. Once we enter our invoices in GSTR 1, the liability gets captured. Should we pay or we are not required to pay? We are not required to pay. At the time of filing GSTR 1, we are not required to pay. But we need to pay the tax at the time of filing GSTR 3B. So whatever details that we enter in GSTR 1, it will be coming into GSTR 3B in table 1, 3.1, got it? In table 3.1, it will be coming as a liability, but mostly it will be like summary. And is it editable? Yes, it is editable, but it will be auto populated. GSTR 3B data table 3 contains liability. It is auto populated from where? GSTR 1. In GSTR 1, what the trader should do? He should add the invoices. Maybe if it is B2B, invoices wise he will add. If it is B2C, consolidated information he will add. What is B2B, B2C? Business to business, means sale to registered person is B2B. Sale to unregistered person will be B2C. So those details will be entered in GSTR 1. Are you understanding now? Now say this, the trader will enter his output tax details in GSTR 1 and it will be in GSTR 3B. Now, can he enter any amount as ITC in GSTR 3B? GSTR 3B he need to enter ITC. Now 18,000 is his liability and he thought, why should not I enter ITC 18,000? Even though my purchase is only for 1 lakh plus 12,000, so I can enter now, because it is only I will do the data entry, I can enter. No, you cannot enter any number to your whims and fancies. Whatever amount that should be taken as ITC in GSTR 3B should be reflected in GSTR 2B. Should be reflected in GSTR 2B. What is this GSTR 2B? Whether we will prepare this 2B? No. This is auto populated. From where it is auto populated? From the GSTR 1 of the supplier. Whatever ITC that is reflected in your GSTR 3B is not based on your data entry. That should be based on GSTR 2B. From where data will come in GSTR 2B? From the GSTR 1 of your supplier. Your suppliers will be filing GSTR 1 na. If it is inward supply for you, for your supplier it is outward supply. So your outward supply details of the supplier will be entered in GSTR 1. That's what we just now discussed. In GSTR 1, we will enter the details of outward supplies. So your supplier will enter the details of outward supplies. His outward supplies, which is your inward supplies, he will enter in GSTR 1. While entering in GSTR 1, they will be giving GSTN details. You see here. So how to create B2B invoice? To create a B2B invoice, so they have to give. Who is doing this now? Who is doing this now? Your supplier. Your supplier. What your supplier will do? He is making sale to you. When he is making sale to you, will share your GSTN details. What is GSTN? GST identification number. Every registered person will get a GST identification number from the department. That GSTN you need to share with your supplier. What your supplier will do? He will create an invoice in GSTR 1. While creating the invoice in GSTR 1, he will give your GSTN. When he gives your GSTN, automatically, recipient name and all will be reflected. Now, he will enter the value and he will click on save, which means your supplier has successfully created the invoice. But he has not yet filed GSTR 1. Carefully listen. Your supplier has added the invoice in GSTR 1, but he has not yet he has not yet filed. He saved. Whether this data will come in 2B? No. Only when your supplier files GSTR 1, it will be coming in your 2B. Adding the invoice is only half of the task. The remaining task is that he need to file the GSTR 1. That too by the due date he need to file. Now, will this data come any other place? Yes, 2A. The moment your supplier adds the invoice in GSTR 1, in your GSTR 2A, it will be visible. But can you avail the ITC based on 2A? No. You cannot avail ITC based on 2A. You can avail ITC only based on 2B. Then what is the use of 2A? Both 2A and 2B contains inward supply details. Both 2A and 2B contains inward supply details. From where the 2A and 2B gets updated or auto-populated? From the GSTR 1 of the supplier. Okay. And 2A is like a Google sheet, wherein they put anything, here it will be visible. But 2B is like a Excel sheet, wherein they make and they send it to you. If they modify anything, you will not be able to see. You understood? So it is a static document. And for availing ITC, whether 2A is relevant or 2B is relevant. 2B. Then what is the need of 2A? Just for reference. 2A is a reference document. We will not avail ITC on the basis of 2A, we will avail ITC only on the basis of 2B. Understood here? So, how ITC will come in 2B? Based on GSTR 1 of supplier. Based on GSTR 1 of supplier, which is filed, it will come into 2B. From there, we can avail ITC in GSTR 3B. Got it? That is, supplier should add this invoice 1 lakh plus 12,000. This invoice you need to add. Invoice for 1 lakh plus 12,000. When your supplier adds 1 lakh plus 12,000 in the GSTR 1, in 2B, ITC auto-populated as 12,000 inward supply, GST paid on inward supply. That we can avail ITC in GSTR 3B in table 4, 12,000. Understood the process? The moment you avail the ITC, then only the ITC is recognized. Until that point of time, you pass a journal entry in your books, it is of no use. You fold and keep somewhere. It is of no use. Your books credit is of no use. whatever credit that is there in 3B, that is only relevant. You got it? And from this, where it will travel? Electronic credit ledger. There is something called as electronic credit ledger, which will be maintained by GST network. What is GST network? That is, for the purpose of implementation of GST, we needed information technology support, because one fabric of difference between old indirect tax and the new GST law is this only, that is matching of credit. Matching of credit. What is matching of credit? So previously we were not having this matching of credit concept. So there will be a trader, and the trader will file his VAT return. In that VAT return they will report, this much is my purchases, this is the ITC VAT credit, and this much is my liability, like that. How to verify whether really that much is his credit? So there was no mechanism, and many state governments rejected the VAT claims, that is input tax claims or VAT credit claims of the traders, and these traders went to the Supreme Court, filed writ petitions and all, and so finally courts are telling, if the person has taken the credits, is there any mechanism to verify? Then why are you troubling the traders? You have to give them the credit. There was a huge loss to government. Many crores were lost because these people used to take credit on the basis of fake invoices. And how to eliminate these fake invoices? That's where the thought of GST came, wherein every purchase invoice, let's cross check with the sales invoice, so that we will know really this person has made a purchase or not. To do the cross checking, we need a concept of matching. So this matching is possible only when there is a proper system in place. Otherwise, invoice to invoice matching is really a nightmare. It is not possible. For that reason, a system needs to be implemented, and that role is given to GST network. So this GST network will provide the information technology infrastructure for the purpose of implementation of GST. Now that GST network will maintain 3 ledgers on behalf of every registered person. What are those 3 ledgers? Electronic credit ledger that contains this input tax credit avail 12,000. Then electronic liability ledger that contains the output tax that is reported 18,000. Now credit ledger has 12,000, liability ledger has 18,000. So the difference we need to pay. So put that 6,000 rupees into electronic cash ledger, and that 6,000 and 12,000 will be set off against the electronic liability ledger. So in our electronic liability ledger there will be 18,000. In our electronic liability ledger there will be 18,000. How to pay this 18,000? Through electronic credit ledger. How much? 12,000. And through electronic cash ledger, that is 6,000. Clear? So quickly I am repeating this, carefully listen. There is a trader, inward supply and the trader will pay price plus GST to the supplier, 1 lakh plus 12,000, and the trader will have outward supplies, and there will be price plus GST 1 lakh 50 plus 18,000. This 12,000 is called as input tax, this 18,000 is called as output tax. This input tax will be utilized for payment of output tax, this is known as set off, and the net GST payable will be output tax minus input tax, that is 18,000 minus 12,000, 6,000. And this 12,000 rupees is called as input tax avail, and this set off is called as utilized for payment of output tax. How to avail this ITC? We need to file GSTR 3B, and in GSTR 3B we will avail ITC of 12,000 rupees. But to avail the ITC of 12,000 in GSTR 3B, first our supplier should have filed GSTR 1, that is this trader's supplier should have filed GSTR 1, and in that, so they have to report the invoice for 1,12,000. From there it will come into 2B 12,000, and thereafter we can avail this ITC in 3B. The moment we avail this ITC in 3B, it will travel to electronic credit ledger, which is maintained by GST network. All these 3 ledgers, okay, ledgers maintained by ledgers maintained by GST network, okay, on behalf of registered person. So it will go to electronic credit ledger. Then this output tax needs to be reported in GSTR1. Automatically it will come to GSTR3B. Whatever output tax that is reported, 18,000 rupees, that will go to electronic liability ledger. Now 18,000 can be utilized, like 12,000 can be utilized for payment of 18,000. Remaining 6,000 we need to deposit into cash ledger for payment of this liability. Understood this story? Clear? So there are few terminologies that we have discussed in this. First we discussed GSTR1. What is GSTR1? GST return. GSTR refers to GST return. And what does it contains? Outward supplies. Only outward supply details will be there in GSTR1. And GSTR2A. What does GSTR2A contains? Inward supplies. Inward supplies. Is it relevant for ITC or only reference? Only a reference document. GSTR2B, inward supplies, but that is relevant for ITC availment, okay, ITC availment, this is relevant. And these two are auto populated from where? So auto populated from GSTR1 of supplier, auto populated from GSTR1 of supplier. Then GSTR3B, what does GSTR3B contains? It's a consolidated return, so it contains everything. And at the time when you file GSTR1, whether tax payment arises or shall not arise? Shall not arise. At the time of filing 3B, whether tax payment arises? Yes, tax payment shall arise. Then apart from this, we have seen three ledgers. What is ELL? What does it contain? Liability. What is ECRL? Electronic credit ledger. What does it contain? ITC. What is ECL? Electronic cash ledger. What will it contain? Cash deposited, okay. And all these ledgers will be maintained by GST network on behalf of registered person. So who is GST network? Entity which provides information technology infrastructure for implementation of GST. So GST network is a entity. Is it a government entity or a private entity? 100% government entity. It's a 100% government entity. It's not a private entity. And this government entity, 100% means what? Fully it is invested by government. Previously it was private entity, public private, but now it is 100% government entity, wherein 50% is owned by central government. Remaining 50% is owned by all state governments together. And this particular government entity, that is GST network, will be providing what? IT infrastructure, information technology infrastructure. For what purpose? For implementation of GST. Got it? Now, as GST is a dual GST model, who will take the decision? Means levy is done by both central government and state government. So therefore, who will take the decisions? Both central government and state government will take the decisions. Then how the decisions can be taken independently? There is a need of a common body to take the decisions, that is GST Council. GST Council refers to the decision making body of GST for the purpose of deciding what should be the rate, what should be the exemption, or what is the procedure. Everything will be decided by GST Council. Now you can see that information here about GST Council, page number 13. So GST Council is the decision making body of GST, and Article 279A of the Constitution empowers this GST council, which means GST council is not a government body. GST council is a constitutional authority. Means if the government gets dissolved, the GST council still functions. You understood? Because it is a constitutional authority. You know na, when government dissolves, constitution will step in and constitution authorities will not get dissolved. It will function. If constitution also dissolve, then how the elections can be conducted? You understood? So therefore, GST council is a constitutional authority. And from which article they get the powers, roles, responsibilities? Article 279A. And you all know who is the head of constitution? President. So which means this GST council should be constituted by president. But president will not be part of GST council. It is just the constituted, like they will call upon and they will recognize the council only by president. And who are the members of the GST council? Union Finance Minister. Prime Minister is not the member. Union Finance Minister. Prime Minister and Chief Minister don't have any role in GST. Got it? They are not the deciding authorities. Because, you know, one thing that is good that we have done is that in GST, wherein we excluded PM, CM and regular administrative people to interfere into the GST because they don't have any awareness about this. So therefore, it is the GST council which will decide. Who is there in GST council? Union Finance Minister and State Finance Ministers. So how many states do we have? 28. Because Jammu and Kashmir has become union territory. Initially we had 28. Then Andhra got divided into Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, 29. Then Jammu and Kashmir became a union territory, so 28 back. So 28 states we have. Plus there are 3 union territories which were given partial statehood, which will work like a state. Means we have assembly, we have chief minister, cabinet of ministers. It will function like a state, but per se it will not be called as state because central government control is also more in those places. That is union territory with state legislature. Tell me what are those 3 union territories? Pondicherry, Goa, Mauritius, Cayman Island. Tell. Whichever place you want to visit, everything you tell. Where from Goa became union territory, I don't know. Goa is not at all a union territory. Okay. Pondicherry. Okay, just because Pondicherry beach liquor, Goa also beach liquor, let's connect. Goa will not come, only Pondicherry. Next, Delhi. Delhi is also union territory with state legislature. And next we have Jammu and Kashmir. The state of Jammu and Kashmir is divided into 2 union territories. Jammu and Kashmir, a union territory with state legislature. Ladakh, union territory without state legislature. So 3 union territories with state legislature, Pondicherry, Delhi and Jammu and Kashmir. So for that also, as I told you, it will function like a state. So there will be state finance ministers. So total 31 state finance ministers. Understood? Say this. In total there are 33 members, 1 union finance minister and 31 states, Minister of State Revenue, 28 states plus 3 union territories and 31 plus 1, 32, one more, 1 union Minister of State Revenue. So in cabinet there is union finance minister and Minister of State Finance. So for finance cabinet they have given 2 ministries for finance itself. One is union finance minister, another person will be Minister of State who will look after the union territories and the state coordination. Okay. So that union MP of state revenue is also member of the GST council. So total how many members will be there? 33 members. And union finance minister is its chairman and finance minister of state shall be its members. Union minister of state in charge of revenue is also member, that is an MP. Basically what they will do? They will decide onto certain things. They will give recommendations to the central government and state government for implementation of GST. You read it as recommendation, but literally it is not recommendation, it's an order. You understood? GST Council, they use the word, they give recommendations to the center and state for implementation of GST. Recommendation means it's up to me, na? Yes or no? I am a state government. GST Council is giving me a recommendation. Recommendation, it is up to me whether I take or not, but not like that. Recommendation means it has to be followed by the state. Okay. I don't know why they use the word recommendations. They should have given instructions. Okay. It makes recommendations to center and states on important issues like tax rates. From time to time the tax rates keep on changing. Now that there is some information which is in circulation, I think it will be mostly decided that on cigarettes and beverages the rate of GST is going to get increased to 35%. 35% means already these Coke beverages, lot of aerated beverages are there, na? On that already 28% is there. Now they want to enhance it to 35%. Sir, can they do that? Yes, because law wise, act wise, they can go up to 40%. Because that is a maximum GST rate that they can levy, 40%. I am not talking about compensations and other things. GST itself they can go up to 40%. Right now effective maximum rate is 28% for some goods. Now they want to increase for few goods 35%. These decisions will be taken in GST Council. Tax rates, then exemptions. Exemptions with respect to like what are the services which needs to be exempted and withdrawal of existing exemption. From time to time they will be notifying exemptions, then dispute resolution, etc. Then what is the decision to be taken? I mean, what is the majority that is required for taking a decision? First see quorum. Quorum is minimum 50. Quorum means what? Minimum number that should be present in order to call it as a valid meeting. What is a quorum? 50%. 50% means 33 into 50%. 17.5 or 16.5. So 17 members. 17 members is the quorum. And weighted votes 1/3 for central government and 2/3 for state government. So they have not given more weightage to CG vote. They have given more weightage to state government vote. Tomorrow if any state government is telling that no, we did not decide everything, Union Finance Minister only decide, because they play the game here. Union Finance Minister will say whatever is there in GST Council that is final, what I can do. Actually she is true, to that extent she is true. But the state finance ministers have to play the major role there. If the state finance ministers are not voting in favor of any decision, why the decision is going to take place? Like it will not be implemented, because you see there who is having the weighted majority, more weighted, 2/3 to state government and 1/3 is only given to central government. It's not an equal weightage also. And the decision considered to be passed if 3/4 of the weighted majority is obtained. That too, not simple majority. 3/4, like a special resolution, means how much should be the votes in favor? Right there, votes in favor greater than 75% of total votes. Votes in favor is greater than 75% of total votes, because we need a 3/4 weighted majority. Let's try to understand this with the help of an illustration. Example, there is a proposal to increase the GST on smartphone from 18% to 28%. Now that everyone is using smartphones and we cannot imagine our life without smartphone, so that is the place where the rates can be increased. You understood? That's how government will think. People are excessively dependent on something. Let's tax there, so that we will get the major revenue. Example, initially what people used to do for food, they used to depend on their family like mom or wife, and if not, they need to go long distance and eat the food in the restaurant and come. Now what has happened? We sitting at home, Zomato is there, Swiggy is there. It will sometime tempt us to order food also, correct? One notification it will send, wherein hot gulab jamun, I am ready to eat me like that, okay? No, yes. So therefore, after that we will place the order and it will come to our home, wherein Chechi identified, good. So lot of people are dependent on Swiggy and Zomato. Let's tax that. Brought into e-commerce operator taxation, wherein even though the restaurant is unregistered, from that restaurant if you order food, GST will be payable by the e-commerce operator. Like that, maybe she will get this thought, why should not be proposed? Actually, no. Why everyone is blaming her? She is not the only one to be blamed actually. Everyone is involved in that. But everyone points at her because she will create the idea. When she creates the idea, the state finance ministers will think, okay, this much revenue we are getting. When this much revenue we are getting, we can create some more projects. So these projects will push us the votes for the next elections. You understood how the game is being played here. So she will tell, maybe we can do this. And all others, madam, how much will be the increase in revenue? This many crores. And every state will think, okay, this many crores we are getting, and when we are getting this, maybe we can increase the number of roads, or we can do this, we can give promises, okay, 2000 rupees to every family. You understood? That is something which I don't understand. This money transfer scheme, wherein floods will come, when floods come, make efforts to ensure that there are no floods, ensure that there is no water stagnation. Rather, they are giving money to everyone, 2000 rupees, 5000 rupees, like that. I don't understand this scheme, because opposite, no, for yesterday's rainfall is not a heavy rainfall, but today you came in water only, okay. So actually in Chennai, sooner or later we need to buy this James Bond boat with car. Wherever water comes, it will become boat. Road comes, it will become like wheels will come. You have seen a James Bond movie like that. Still, they are not rectifying the issue, but every time when water comes, 5000 rupees, take. So this state government want. As state government want this, so everyone will definitely accept to this, unless otherwise, if the states feel like, no, for our people it is not correct, we should not get affected like that. But again, see what is happening here, this is going to increase the rate, means increase the revenue, 18% to 28%. How many voted in favor? Union Finance Minister, definitely she will vote in favor. Increase means more revenue to central government. As madam voted, so sir also will vote. Union MP, because how he will not listen, so therefore they will. And 4 state finance ministers, because under central government control, there will be many states, correct, as a part of NDA alliance or BJP itself. So the states have to listen. Say 4 state finance ministers also voted, but 13 state finance ministers voted against. Definitely this decision will not be taken. See how it works. How many voted in favor? Weighted. 1 into 1 by 3, 1 into 1 by 3 plus 4 into 2 by 3. What is the total votes in favor? Weighted votes in favor, 3.3. So 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 plus 4 into 2, 8 by 3, that is 10 by 3. 10 by 3, that is 3.3 is the weighted votes in favor. Then in this GST council meeting, how many are present? 1 union MP, 1 union finance minister, 1 union MP and 17 state finance ministers. Whether quorum is achieved? Yes. So 17 plus 1 plus 1, that is 19, quorum is achieved. And what is the total weighted votes? 1 into 1 by 3 plus 1 into 1 by 3 plus 17 into 2 by 3. So 36 divided by 3, that is 12. Now you see what is the percentage of weighted votes in favor? 3.3 divided by 12 into 100, 27%. So will the proposal be accepted or proposal be dropped? Dropped. Okay. So this is how the decision will happen in GST council meetings. Is it clear? Then what are the areas of recommendations by GST council? Already I told you, they will decide upon the taxes, then exemptions and apportionment of IGST. What is this apportionment of IGST? First we need to understand the types of GSTs that we have. How many GST we have? Actually GST slogan is what you know, one nation, one tax. Okay, but it is misleading. It's not one tax. We have 4 taxes: CGST, SGST, UTGST and IGST. What is CGST? Central Goods and Services Tax. Who will levy? Name: central government. State GST, state government. Okay, then union territory. No, central government only, because union territories don't have the power to levy. Union territories are under central government, so UTGST is also levied by central government. There is one more GST called as IGST, Integrated Goods and Services Tax. Who will levy? Central government. When, which will be levied? First, supply we need to divide into 2: intrastate supply and interstate supply. I told you taxable event is supply, correct? So taxable event under GST is supply. What is the meaning of taxable event? Today only I told you. Taxable event means what? Event on which GST or tax is levied. Okay. What is the taxable event in GST? Supply of goods or services or both. This supply is divided into 2. This supply is divided into 2: intrastate supply and interstate supply. Intrastate supply and interstate supply. So what is the meaning of this? There are 2 factors. What are the 2 factors? Location of supplier. Don't write, just listen. Location of supplier and place of supply. Location of supplier and place of supplier are the 2 factors. Location of supplier you can easily understand. So where the supplier is registered or operating or doing business, that is location of supplier. Place of supply is a technical aspect. Depending upon the transaction, the place of supply will change. Sometimes service in relation to immobile property, location of immobile property will be place of supply. Sometimes location of supplier is place of supply. Sometimes location of recipient will be place of supply. Sometimes location where service is actually performed will become place of supply. So this will keep on changing. Okay. So services, there are different transactions, different place of supply. We have a very big chapter related to that. In index you can see place of supply is a separate chapter. So there we will be learning what is the place of supply. If location of supplier and place of supply is in same state or same union territory, then it will be intrastate supply. Got it? Suppose if the location of supplier and place of supply is in, come on, 2 different states or 2 states or 2 UTs or state and union territory, then it is interstate supply. Easy. Location of supplier, place of supply, same state or same union territory, intra. Location of supplier, place of supply, 2 states, 2 union territories, a state and a union territory, then it will be inter. If it is intrastate supply, what is the GST that is applicable? CGST plus SGST. Dual GST model. CGST will go to central government, SGST will go to state government. If it is in the same union territory, CGST plus UTGST. Even though both are levied by the same government, but we have 2 separate accounting heads because that UTGST is used for the development of union territories. So we need to understand what is the contribution of union territories. For that reason, a separate accounting head is created. If it is CGST, it is like common for everything. So that's why CGST plus UTGST. If it is interstate supply, the type of GST will be IGST. In case of CGST, SGST, CGST, UTGST, the dual GST model is maintained. Whereas in case of interstate IGST, there is only single GST model, but actually we follow dual GST model. So how it works? This IGST, even though collected by central government, but central government cannot retain that completely. Why central government cannot retain that completely? Because India follows dual GST model. So what happens here? Say there is a supplier who is located in Tamil Nadu. There is a supplier who is located in Tamil Nadu and the recipient is located in Karnataka. Even place of supply is also Karnataka. Place of supply, POS, place of supply is also Karnataka. Supplier in Tamil Nadu and recipient in Karnataka. And this is a interstate supply. Interstate supply, correct? Supplier and place of supply, two different states. Now, to central government, IGST is paid. Who will pay IGST? Supplier in Tamil Nadu will pay IGST to central government. Understood or not? In this, 50%, because central government and state government, dual GST model, what is the sharing ratio between CGSG? Equal, 50-50. That's why we will never see difference in the rates like CGST 9%, SGST 6%, never. So the rate is common. In that rate, 50% will go to CG, 50% will go to SG. So out of this IGST, 50% is retained by central government, okay? 50% retained by central government. What about remaining 50%? Remaining 50% they need to share with state government. Which state government? Tamil Nadu or Karnataka? Shared with state government of Karnataka. Why? Consuming state. As Karnataka is consuming state. As Karnataka is consuming state, means wherever the goods and services are consumed, to that state only the revenue should go. So that is the reason why GST is called as a destination based consumption tax. So wherever the goods and services are ending or terminating or destined, to that state only we will be transferring the revenue. Accordingly, it is shared with state government of Karnataka. Now, who will decide this apportionment between central, state, etc. and all? Again, GST Council. You understood? So that is this. So GST Council, I told you, apportionment of IGST. What is the apportionment of IGST? I gave you this discussion. IGST will be levied in case of interstate supply. This IGST will not be fully retained by central government. They need to share with the state government. To what extent they need to share, how they will share, etc. is decided by GST Council. Then determination of GST rates on goods and services, including the special rates and special provision for certain states. What are those states? MMTN, ASAM, HUJ. These are the 11 special category states under Constitution. As per Article 279A of the Constitution, there are total 11 special category states, okay, which has been given a separate status, and that's the reason why we have lot of benefits or tax exemptions. In income tax also we have certain exemptions like in 80 series and 10 series, and even in GST also some privileges they will be getting. So what are those states? MMTN, ASAM is northeastern states. Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, Nagaland, Assam, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh and Meghalaya. These are northeastern states. H. Himachal Pradesh, U. Uttarakhand, J. Jammu and Kashmir. These are considered as special category states. For these special category states, what are the privileges to be given is decided by the GST Council. Sir, what privilege they have given? You would have studied in your intermediate that for composition scheme, so Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, Nagaland, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh and Meghalaya, instead of 1.5 crores, the limit will be 75 lakhs. And in registration chapter also you would have studied that for special category states Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, Nagaland, the lower threshold limit of 10 lakhs will be applicable. Like this, these are the changes that they will be making. And also in exemption there is one point, that is if the starting point or ending point of the air travel is in these states, northeastern states, that air ticket is exempted. So like this certain privileges will be given. So that decision also will be taken by GST Council. And any other issues relating to GST. Maybe in some attempts, if they don't have any theory question, they will ask this and all. So write a short note on GST Council. For 4 marks they will, or 5 marks they will be asking this. Okay. What is GST Council and what are the functions of the GST Council? Already they asked this once. In CA final exam only, already they have tested this once. Then look into this discussion. I am not starting anything new. Whatever I have discussed, I am just showing you those pages. See this. Intrastate versus interstate supply, page number 7. This I discussed. I am just showing you this. I asked you not to write, okay, because it's already there in the book. So intrastate supply, interstate supply, meaning we have discussed. And then types of GST also we have discussed. CGST, SGST, IGST, UTGST, who will be levying. And in this IGST, I told you levied and collected by central government and 50% shared with consuming state based on place of supply. After this, we discussed this also, conversion of state of Jammu and Kashmir into Union Territory. Accordingly, we have 2 Union Territories now, that is Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and Union Territory of Ladakh. And what are the remaining Union Territories which are not under state legislature, means not treated as state government? Can you tell me the remaining Union Territories? Ladakh, next Andaman and Nicobar, okay. Lakshadweep, Daman, Diu, Dadra, Nagar Haveli, because Daman Diu was previously one separate Union Territory, Dadra Nagar Haveli was separate, they have merged it into one. Daman, Diu, Dadra, Nagar Haveli. Last, Chandigarh. So I have given here, see, for remaining 5 Union Territories, Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, Chandigarh and Ladakh, UTGST Act is applicable. Okay. Next, we saw this meaning of input tax credit. And what is the meaning of input tax credit? We have discussed. System of credit in indirect taxes, page number 11. Indirect tax shall be levied on every transaction. The originator of the transaction shall pay indirect tax and recover it from the recipient. Indirect tax paid at an earlier stage is available for set off against indirect tax payable at a later stage. That indirect tax paid at an earlier stage is known as credit. And what will happen if I have excess credit? Will there be a situation of excess credit? Yes. For example, my purchaser's input tax is 2 lakhs, but I did not make all sales of purchasers. So few sales were made, remaining is in closing stock. So my liability is just 50,000. 2 lakhs is credit, but my sales liability is only 50,000 GST liability. Means I have excess credit of 1,50,000. What can I do? Carry forward and set off in future. How many years it can be carried forward? Just asking. No limit. It's not like set off and carry forward of losses in income tax, where in 8 years, 4 years like that we have now. Here nothing of that sort. You carry forward. A number of years you carry forward and you utilize for your liability, but the registration should be active. The moment registration is cancelled, the ITC is gone. Until that point of time, ITC will be there. Even when you transfer the business, ITC also can be transferred. Okay. If there is any excess credit, it shall be carried forward to set off with liability arising out of next transaction. If there is any deficit, we discussed that deficit, 18,000 liability, 12,000 ITC. So what is the deficit? 6,000. The balance liability of indirect tax shall be payable. So this is what we have discussed in today's class. We started with introduction, and for first 1 hour I told you about how this batch will be, etc. and all, and then we started with the subject. For 1 hour we discussed, so what are the various indirect taxes got subsumed into GST, dual GST model, types of GST, some introduction to input tax credits, okay, and the remaining aspects in this introduction tomorrow we will continue, and then we will start with supply chapter. Okay, thank you, we will meet tomorrow. And I told you up to December 30 we will have classes only in mornings. Okay, thank you. No class on Sundays. This up to 30th no class on Sundays, but all other days we are having classes, and thereafter Sundays also we will be having. Meanwhile, this month itself, if I am scheduling any class on Sunday, I will let you know. Okay, so far no Sunday class, just the weekday class. Okay, thank you. So online students, already we dispatched the books. You will be receiving, check with our team for tracking details.